partnered with Microsoft and Ingram to offer this to you. And this has not been offered to anyone else. It's the first time we're letting anyone know. And what this is we will introduce you to a partner channel network of over 50,000 resellers globally. And of course, on top of that, we will build with you a go-to-market campaign to ensure that you can actually get to the customers you want to get to and show them make the best impression you can make to them. But in order to do that, we will work with you to ensure your data and your cloud platforms are built the right way so you can actually get ready to get on millions of customers. So now, as an example, if you have a health app and you want to get into different healthcare systems across the world, we can help. Or if you have a fintech business and you want to get to all banks and the mortgage businesses around the world, we can help. So if you're interested, reach out to us. Can we get hands up for all the boosters in the house? Boosters? All right, so look at these people. If you're interested, come reach out to us and we'd be happy to tell you how we can help. Thank you so much. Have a good time.
We tried something last time. I'm going to get up here. I feel small over there. We tried something last time, and I think it worked out pretty well. We got some good feedback, so maybe we try it again, if you guys are up for it. There's a lot of us here. We all need something, right? We're all either at the starting stage of our business or somewhere further along, or we've got a couple of questions or what have you. So there's a mic over here, just to the right of me. So if anyone has a question that they want to ask, now's your chance, right? Come up, say your name, say where you're from, what your company is, and what do you need? Is it marketing support? Is it an investor? Are you trying to hire people? What's your... Vito, don't you need anything? You must need something, Vito.
There's always something.
Always something.
All right, thank you, Keith, for inviting Lisa and I. My name is Vito. I'm a co-founder of a tech company called Treasured, and we're focused on helping families preserve their history through virtual museums. And we're looking to connect with anybody that has experience and wants to learn more about our business. It could be technical, it could be business, or it could be marketing. So find me later. I'll be around and happy to share more with you.
Awesome. Thank you, Vito. Thank you for being nice. Vito. Anybody else? Seriously, no one needs anything? Why are we here? Come on, guys. Come on. All right. Yeah, don't be shy. This is a networking event. That's not how this works. Okay, we're going to move on then. We're still here. We're still networking, so hopefully you guys will feel a little bit more relaxed after our chat. So now the moment we've all been waiting for. Our guest probably has a resume that would make anyone faint, right? Seriously. We're looking at it. I don't think anyone would ever think that this individual is only 21 years old. 21 years old. Oh my gosh. So Swish Goswami, 3 times TEDx speaker. He's been a consultant to Fortune 500 companies. He has gotten a number of accolades, top 20 under 20, youth entrepreneurship awards, so much going on for this guy. And I can't understand how he's doing it all, and I think that's why you all are here too. So before we welcome him on stage, I want to do a little practice run, because one of the things, so a Startup Grind, California based, so we have a lot of events down there, massive conference every February, and one thing they're really good at is hyping things up. Really good at making someone feel good when they walk in a room. So, you guys mind just practicing a little bit? How do we want to welcome in Swish? So if I say 3, 2, 1, welcome Swish. But we're going to kick it up a notch, okay guys? 3, 2, 1, hey Swish, come on!
Hi everyone.
Our music's too late, but it's all good. Sorry guys. Thanks. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
You want to take a
Sit
seat?
here?
Yeah.
On the couch or beside the couch?
I would sit on it. It's a little,
Do that.
yeah. I don't know, it gets a little tough sitting here for a while. So how you doing?
I'm good. By the way, so I did come about 15 minutes late. And there's a reason for that. The reason for that is I went to go pick my mother up. So, or whatever. Hard crowd.
Mrs. Goswami is just over here.
She's right over there. That's my mom. But the round of applause is very justified because we literally ran all the way from Rogers Center, where there was an accident and a Blue Jays game that ended, to come here. It was ridiculous. She ran with heels on. I have no idea how she did it, and she almost beat me as well, which was pretty embarrassing. But Mom, I love you. Thank you for coming out today. Appreciate it.
Like I was saying earlier, you've got quite an impressive story. Where did we start? From the beginning, I guess. Growing up, was entrepreneurship, a part of your life, or was that something that you were always inclined to, or you just fell into it?
Yes, I mean, I wish the answer was yes. But for me, I grew up in Singapore. How many people here have been in Singapore before? A couple, one person, two, three, couple people. It's the most beautiful country in the world, other than Canada.
You have to say that.
I have to say that, yeah, I forgot. But at the same time, it was a culture that's very competitive. The schooling system in Asia, for any people here that have studied in Asia, you're learning 3 to 5 times faster than you would learn here in North America. So school was pretty much everything for me when I was younger. And it wasn't just that my parents forced me into a particular path as well. The lawyer, engineer, doctor route that immigrant families tend to give their kids wasn't something that they forced on me. But I knew that those were the stable jobs that they'd like me to potentially go into. It was only, I think, around when I moved to Calgary. How many people here have been to Calgary? Okay, well, sorry for all of you. It's a pretty rough place, but at the same time, when we went to Calgary, I was 8 years old, and it was only around like 10, 11 when I really started dabbling on tinkering on my own projects and starting to think, all right, how can I be a little more independent in terms of maybe making money on the side while doing something that I love.
Sorry, you said you were trying to make money on the side when you were 8?
But like not 8, like 9, 10, around that age.
Oh, okay.
Like my dad and I, for example, we created a hovercraft together. It was more of a passion project. My dad wanted to get me into engineering adamantly. And so we built a hovercraft together. He actually built it primarily. I was just like CEO on paper, in the paper that I wrote. But at the same time, we built it out in 4 months, and then I sold it to one of my classmates for $200. And using that money, was able to buy a Nintendo DS with the Super Mario Bros. Expansion pack. Single greatest purchase I think I've ever made in my life.
That's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, financial
Who's this
independence.
kid with $200 in his back pocket? It's the oil money in Calgary.
That is oil money. That's Nintendo DS money, right there.
That's money, exactly. Because that's not how I got my Nintendo. Anyway. So what was your first venture after that then?
So I did Junior Achievement. Junior Achievement I think is actually a pretty popular program now. So I was about 16 years old, and we built a custom lapel pins company. The name of the company was Tracy's Pins. And we built custom lapel pins, so if you had an event or if you had an organization that you wanted pins for immediately, it wasn't like Amazon Prime, that didn't really exist at the time, but at the same time, it was about a week. We'd send you the pins, they'd look good, you'd wear them, they'd give the money to us, and we were happy. Within 6 months of the program, we made about $30,000, which wasn't bad for all high school students, I think, too. And that program is something that taught me so much about just working with people in an entrepreneurial climate, which is very stressful, even if you're doing it after school. And so it was a really cool eye-opener to this could potentially be a career that somebody would have full-time.
So you've gotten a lot of awards and accolades and everything. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How did you get to that point? What did you do to get them?
Yeah, so the awards, I mean, look, like they're always the cherry, I guess, on the cake, I don't know. I don't really have cherries on my cake, but whatever. I was thinking something else. Sunday, let's go with that. But at the same time, I think a lot of what I did wasn't only within entrepreneurship, but the first big award I got was 20 under 20, and that was mainly for debate. I've been debating since I was in grade 7. My brother, who's 5 years older than me, the smartest guy in the world in my opinion, when I got into debate, he was in grade 12, and he won the World Schools Debating Championship. So I was like, shit, like really high bar set forth for me, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But at the same time, when I was in grade 10, I joined the national team, and I never won Worlds. I actually came in the final and lost to Singapore, my home country, in Singapore, which was dubious and biased in my opinion, but whatever. But at the same time, like that was the first award, and actually one of the people that I won the award with is now my co-founder, which is really cool how things come full circle.
What are some of the things you like to debate about?
Oh man, we debated everything. I kid you not. Oh man, like we debated, when I was in grade 7 and 8, we were debating about the Arab Spring. Like, I don't know how they would require grade 7 and 8 to talk about the Arab Spring. I was just like, I'm looking forward to spring in Calgary, let alone the Arab Spring. But at the same time, we debated things like marijuana, we debated drones and whether they were legitimate or not. We also debated really stupid topics. Like I remember once we were in Mexico and we debated whether the sun rises in the east. And some teams literally took that as like a literal, like, does it rise in the east or not? It's a metaphor for whether China is going to beat the United States. But we debated a team that took it very literally. And so that was probably one of the greatest debates I've had in a while.
Hilarious. Can you talk to us a little bit about TEDx?
Yeah, TEDx came again just randomly out of a chance. The first TEDx talk I gave was at U of T. So I came to the University of Toronto and I actually was volunteering for the event, and a speaker dropped out 2 weeks before the event came, and I'm like, oh, I can debate, I guess. Like, all my friends made fun of me saying I'm a master debater. It's a weird joke. But at the same time, I put my name in, I'm like, maybe I can speak about social entrepreneurship and the nonprofit work I did in high school. And they couldn't find another speaker, they made me audition, they liked me, and they let me in. And that was my first talk. And then the other ones that came after, again, like I never seek them out, I never applied for a talk before for TEDx. But I think it's when you cultivate a good network, when you put your message out there, and especially when you spread positive vibes and you're willing to help people, things just come back in full circle. Like there are many people in this room that are friends of mine, and they know more than anything what it means to just be a good person. And that doesn't just mean being there, it means also like willing to help out and knowing that things will always come back full circle. Karma is very real.
It is very real. About building that network, I mean, a lot of us, we have our heads down, we're buried in our businesses all the time, or, you've got your blinders on, you're doing your thing, and it's hard. It's hard to, it's a Thursday night, we're all tired, we've had a long week, what have you, but y'all made an effort to come out here, and that's the first step. For you, has that always been natural? I mean, you got energy, kid. Like, you've got energy.
Yeah.
So is this like a natural thing for you?
Like, what was the natural thing?
Like jumping out, networking?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't a natural thing, I guess, like, I wasn't born that way. But at the same time, I think in grade 7, I got into debate primarily actually to show myself that I could speak. I have a speech impediment that was really bad back in the day. It still exists sometimes. Sometimes I was speaking too fast. My mom's like, your lips comes into play. But I had a problem saying R's and S's, which is a pain in the ass, because my full name is Ferocious, which has many R's and S's in them. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. But at the same time, I did that, and one of the biggest lessons I took away in grade 7 is to go and put yourself out there. A lot of people don't do it because they're afraid of what other people might think of them, which I think is a legitimate concern to have at times. But I realized early on that so many people are so concerned about how they are being perceived by other people that they don't really have time to judge you at the end of the day. So as long as I'm not doing something wrong, I'm not harming anybody, I'm just being myself and I'm putting myself out there, if there are people that hate me for that, or if people dislike me for that, those aren't the people I'm necessarily wanting to get into my corner in the first place. So I learned that kind of early on, and I put myself in uncomfortable situations to the point where I'm totally fine making a fool of myself sometimes, and I'm also totally fine putting myself out there in situations that sometimes can make most people feel uncomfortable. But that does take time. It takes time, for sure.
It does. It takes practice, but very well said. What kind of advice would you give to someone who maybe someone in this room today is maybe a little bit of a wallflower?
Mm-hmm. I think you don't need to connect with everyone. One of the things I don't like about networking events is the people that have agendas. It's nice to know where you want the conversation to go to, but I've seen so many times when people come to talk to other individuals, or they come to talk to me, or even early on when I was trying to talk to people, I'd have an agenda. And it was clear that I did not care what the other person was saying. I just wanted to get to X, and I wanted to talk about blank. And so a lot of people don't adapt to conversation very well, and that's the art of networking, is being able to adapt to people, what they're saying, and connect with them on a deeper level. And you're not going to be able to do that if you have a clear set agenda. The second thing I think is don't try to go after everyone. Networking conversations, I love going to conferences sometimes because I'm not the person that goes to the speakers and talk. Don't worry, like if you want after we can chat, I'm not intimidating, but like a lot of people like the Tony Robbins of the world or whatever, the Gary Vee's of the world, like any person that's very prominent, there'll be like thousands of people around them. And what I've noticed is there's so many people in the audience that have insane stories that if you just spend your time making 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 connections that are actually meaningful, and you're not just walking away with a business card in a 1-minute conversation, that's way better. It's way better for being able to at least progress something that you might need help on.
Absolutely, thank you. That's actually really valuable. Switching gears a little bit. Consultant to Fortune 500 companies. How does that happen?
Yeah, so I started posting on a platform called LinkedIn a while back. How many people here on LinkedIn? Pretty much everyone. Yay!
I don't think enough hands went up actually. I'm a little bit concerned for you
God
guys.
damn it,
Do
LinkedIn.
you want to ask this question again?
Sure, LinkedIn. How many people here on LinkedIn?
Okay, thank you.
Great. By the way, I keep forgetting to tell people to do this, but if you can turn on, I believe it's like the Discover Nearby feature on LinkedIn, that's a great tool. So normally at events, I like people who turn that on because you can connect to them very easily. Side note. LinkedIn, I started posting as a student on it in the first year, and I didn't really know what I was doing on it. I just know, I knew that like when I saw LinkedIn, there were so many people that were either putting out really like spammy messages, trying to look for a job, or trying to really scam people, quite honestly. And there weren't a lot of really authentic content creators in the platform. So I started interviewing people because I was too afraid of putting my own thoughts out there. And I'm like, oh, if I'm too afraid of putting my own thoughts, why don't I just share somebody else's story? And that's what I did. I did that. I started seeing really good traction there, started meeting people off the platform. And at a certain point, brands started to notice. So Western Union was the first company that I did LinkedIn consulting for. And that was in second year of university, where I basically told them, here's how you create a profile for 30 executives that were like, what is LinkedIn? Why do I need social media? And I'm like, God damn it. So yeah, we did that, and then I progressed. When I was in New York, I did a bit of work for Google and spoke at American Express. And like, I find that brands are very approachable these days, especially given the fact that they're so compartmentalized. Wow, that's a big word. Jeez, scrabbled, 5 points there. But compartmentalized, that you can really find people quite easily, especially on LinkedIn. If you connect with them and you ask them for an opportunity, a lot of them are very approachable on that platform.
So going back to some of the interviews that you did, I don't know who you interviewed. You want to talk about that a little bit and what you might have learned as a student?
I interviewed almost anyone I knew, really. To start off with, I tried building up my portfolio. I actually remember talking to my mom about the interview series I did, because I was like, Mom, maybe I'll interview you. And she's like, shut up. But at the same time, like the first couple of people that I interviewed were friends of mine. And then I moved from there to just taking a risk. One of the people I took a risk on was Mark Cuban. And I sent him an email. And I said, Mark, I'd love to interview you. I have Lewis Howe's interview, and then 2 people that I knew he wouldn't have known. But I'm like, I just threw him in, just in case. And I just gave my phone number. I said, I'd love to have a conversation with you. And he called me about 5 days after at the airport, when he was at the airport. And we had a great conversation for 10, 15 minutes. I got my answers that I needed, and I posted them. And I don't know, like for me, the reason I think he reached out was primarily because in my email, all I really did wasn't ask for anything. I just asked for a bit of time from him and to interview him. And I didn't really care if I was going to get no or no response as an answer. I was just going to try and shoot my shot.
Is that your favorite interview?
No. That was a very rushed interview. I think my favorite interview to date probably has to be Lewis Howe. Lewis Howe is a very real person, and his story is really inspiring. And just to see all the times that he's encountered failure and bounced back, it's pretty inspiring.
So even with yourself then, obviously anybody who's going through anything, we're coming up against obstacles every day, and you're obviously you are as well. What are the things that keep you motivated? How do you get through them?
Yeah, I mean, so I think family and friends, very important to me. Mom, obviously, brother, people that I very much look up to, people that I love so dearly. And at the end of the day, if I look at my mom, for example, or if I look at my brother, I mean, these guys, they're having the same jobs. Like my mom's been balancing so many things their entire life. She's been teaching immigrants and refugees how to speak English when they come into the country. She's been managing me, which is a really hard task to do, I think, or maybe not, who knows.
I'm gonna go with yes.
Yeah. And then at the same time, she's still able to come home every day and is able to just put a smile on her face when I was in high school and help me out with anything I needed. So I feel like when you look at your family and your friends and you see some of their stories, it's very hard to make an excuse sometimes. Like literally there are times when I'll call my mom and I'll tell my mom like, there's 3 things that are really bothering me. She's like, are you kidding me? Like, I today had to fill tax forms and teach these people and get the groceries and all of this stuff. And I'm like, all right, I'll shut up. I'm
It's
sorry.
all perspective.
Right? So it's pretty crazy. And then number 2, I think, is generally speaking, motivation is something that I don't necessarily get from other people only. I think it's also just intrinsic. If you have ambition, if you have some idea of where you want to go, which I keep very personal to myself, but if I have an idea of where I want to go, I generally am always able to steer the ship to that, or feel like I'm even going to make one step closer to that. It's just feel. It really is addicting when you're able to go towards that ship.
So you have a new venture that you're working on right now, Trufan. And there's a couple of people here from there. You guys want to mention your names?
Scott.
Say hi to them.
Our
Hey,
man.
Scott.
Yep.
How you doing?
I'm well.
I'm
I thought you were pointing at something.
Putting on another hat, yeah.
Scott actually just got back from Miami,
Hey.
and so he's been
Nice.
quite suntan.
Much better than here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Trufan?
Sure.
Scott, you want to come up here?
Sure.
Yeah. Round of applause for Scott. A quick backstory, actually. Quick backstory of Scott. Scott's our head of sales, and he is somebody who I met off LinkedIn a year and a half ago. And when I came up with the idea for Trufan, he reached out, and to quote, he said, "Swish, I will make this my life's work." And I was like, all right, I didn't even know the guy. I had never met him.
That is commitment.
And here we are. So Scott.
Get my own mic. All right. But yeah, I guess on the note of like making something your life's work, I can bet that almost 95% of the people in the crowd have had that moment when they felt stuck in their career. And like, I had been out of university for like 3 years. So for me, I bounced around a few jobs. I went from direct sales to management to some business development and getting into the B2B space. That's when I really started noticing the opportunity cost that existed on LinkedIn. Started noticing people like Swish that were making a big impact, not only in their own lives, but in other people's lives, and just the opportunity cost as somebody who came from a marketing background was something that spoke highly to me. So put myself out there, moved to another job shortly thereafter, and was getting driven into the ground. So if you felt like that before and you really wanted to apply yourself to something that you believed in, but with people that would allow you to kind of work up to your own expectation, I think that was the biggest thing for me. So yeah.
You want to tell us about Trufan?
Oh yes, totally forgot. Sorry.
That was great. That's
Yeah, no, I
lovely.
love it. Trufan, we started a year and a half ago. It's a web platform. It helps influencers, brands identify and reward their top fans. So it kind of started, I was in New York, I was running a big Instagram account called @dunk. I'm a huge basketball fan, haha, Swish, right? But at the same time, we had about 2.3 million followers. We were working with brands, teams, players, but I realized we didn't really know who our most engaged followers were, who our most influential people within our network were, and I wanted to sell directly to them. I wanted to bring them into influencer campaigns. I wanted to make them spread things for us. And so we built out the platform primarily for ourselves, pitched it around to a couple of people who thought we should make it a separate product, and a year and a half in now, we are connected with Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. We're able to run your analytics in terms of finding your top fans or your competitors' top fans, and give you those insights that you can target directly.
That's awesome. So what are some challenges that you might be facing right now?
Customers,
Further,
finding customers, going to
There's
market. Now that I have a mic, actually, one of the things I was going to come up and do, but I didn't want to steal, all the spotlight tonight, considering that Swish was going to be on stage, was the gentleman that was in the scarf who came up here before,
Keith.
Keith, yeah, would definitely like to have a chat with you, wherever you are. You may be in the
Okay, I
Washington
can
right
look you
now.
up. He's probably
Not
outside
here, but
next week.
I'm going to hunt you down, Keith. So yeah, go to market. Visualizing data correctly, finding the types of features that are far beyond what you actually plan for the platform, but that are the things that brands need. Those are all very difficult to actually make happen. So I'd say that's some of the challenges we're dealing with right now. Yeah.
That's awesome. Where are you guys headed with Trufan?
Yeah, so we raised 2 rounds now. So first round, 500,000. A couple of NBA players came on board, meet the executives. New Avenue Capital based in Vancouver, and then we actually moved from Vancouver to Toronto about 2 months ago. It was funny because we made Scott move all the way from Ottawa to Vancouver like 6 months ago, and then we're like, by the way, we're going back the other way.
So how do you think about that? Are you happy to be here, or do you want to be back in Vancouver?
We don't ask those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not
Totally
get into
different
that.
direction.
If anyone wants to come talk to me about that experience, have you moved across Canada twice in 3 months?
But at the same time, we're going to be really doing a big sales push. So part of our beta round, we got a lot of influencers like Kevin Hart, Casey Neistat, Cameron Dallas, a lot of good names, a lot of big brands as well. So converting them onto our payment plan is going to be priority one. But then I think number two, we're trying to go down not only fan engagement, but fan discovery. What I find very interesting is can I not only show you your top fans, but can I also find people in the world that have similar characteristics to your top fans that you can target as new customers. That's where we're headed in terms of the platform specifically.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I think probably there's a lot of questions here. Yeah. Can I get it ready? You guys, come on. Yeah. So we've got a mic over here. So if anybody's got a question, I might just pop one over there or something. Yeah. Thanks. We can type team.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what we'll do, actually, DJ, if you don't mind, I'm gonna make you get up. You're gonna come over here and you're gonna stand there. We're gonna see you. And we're not gonna be shy. What's your name? Nice to meet you, Jason.
So, my question is more of a personal growth question. I think one of the things I respect about you the most is your deep found ability to be very vulnerable. And also you're allowed to say like, hey, I don't want to answer this, and complete respect. So you talked about, your speech impediment and how that kind of came to be like something you've owned. Do you remember what it felt like during the time that you were dealing with it in that defining moment where you decided to own the fuck out of it and then you used it to not really care about what people think?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Jason. There wasn't a defining moment per se. There wasn't like a moment where I woke up and I'm like, yeah, getting over this. But there were definitely moments of embarrassment early on. I remember one debate round at the end of it, the judge, who was actually one of my best friend's parents, like, you're a great debater. I can't wait till your retainer comes out. I'm like, I don't have a retainer. And so that sucked. But at the same time, I think as I started to kind of feel comfortable with my voice, as I started realizing that what matters isn't how you say something, it's what you say. That is very much one of my core philosophies in my mind. That's kind of when I started not really caring about anybody that was insulting me for my voice. And it wasn't like I was actually pretty lucky that I didn't get bullied ever. I had a very good core group of friends around me that accepted me, but that doesn't mean embarrassment still doesn't affect me. It was just more that I think I was so insulated at the point where I just felt like I was normal. And once I felt I was normal, which by the way, in my opinion, looking back, there is nothing called normal. There is no such thing. I just kept going with it and I didn't look back.
Proud of you, dude.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I never leave a man hanging, I'm sorry.
If anyone has a question, just line up here behind me, guys.
Thank you, Sharon. Swish, what's your core demographic target in terms of the fans?
Yeah.
Are they teenagers? Are they?
For the fans that we show,
Yeah,
users,
yeah.
it really depends, honestly. Like we work with banks like Western Union, and their fans are definitely not 18 to 24. But we've also worked with media companies that target the 20 to 30 demographic. So we can do one of two things. We can show you your top fans, and that could be a demographic that's out of our control. Or if you told us that, hey Swish, I'd like to find 18 to 24-year-olds in Toronto that are interested in the Raptors, we can find that demographic as well for you and give you that data.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess there's a lot of controversy about how Facebook share data
yeah.
and stuff like that. How do you get the data?
Yeah. So entirely through APIs. So the cool thing about what we do is we don't store any data. All we do is have an algorithm that analyzes and passes it on. And the big thing that I love that differentiates us from Facebook or Instagram is Facebook and Instagram primarily makes their money off controlling your data. What we're doing is giving you your data back and allowing you to control your audience and to be able to activate them on your own without even the need of going through Facebook and Instagram. So that's what I find so liberating about what we do is we don't store any data. Our polls are entirely through the API and they're way below what's actually needed because we don't take a look at your entire following, we only take a look at your top fans and give you that. And what's best about it is we're giving you your data back as opposed to having to rely on Facebook and Instagram to put in an ad, plug your nose, and hope somebody will see it.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Hey, I actually found your account 2 weeks ago. So, and then I heard about this. I'm like, okay, I can go and I want to see what it's all about. So this is the first time I'm hearing about Trufan. It's a great concept, and I'm a Facebook advertiser myself, so I can relate to a lot of things. Don't you think that it will be very valuable for entrepreneurs or agencies, for that matter, to have something like Trufan or Trufan itself incorporated in Instagram or in Facebook? Is that something that you want to work towards? What if in an ideal world you got that option by these huge companies that we want to incorporate Trufan into Facebook or into Instagram? Would you consider that at all?
It's a totally interesting. I don't know if I would say yes or no right now. It obviously depends, but I actually fundamentally believe they would never do that. Like it is just against their core business model to give data back to customers. Right now, at least, I'm hoping they pivot, and they're going to probably need to pivot based on PR right now for them.
Yeah.
But that being said, what we're really interested in is more integrating with organizations that are third party. So last month we signed an integration with Hootsuite, so all 16 million Hootsuite users can get a snapshot of Trufan on their dashboard within Hootsuite itself. We're looking to do something with Shopify coming up too. And so these are the platforms I'm very interested in integrating with, not as much with Facebook and Instagram yet, because they have a lot of issues to figure out first.
For sure, these issues, yeah. Good, thank you.
Hi, I'm not very close to the industry, but it strikes me that there's quite a few companies competing for the customer analytics end of it. And so you would have to have some key differentiator. And I was just trying to figure out what that was. So if it wasn't someone internal, but you were asking about Trufan, what do you think that other people in the industry, how would they see you as very different than the miasma of competitors?
Totally. Yeah, it's a very competitive field, social media analytics. So to understand that a little more, you have to break it down into two categories. One is performance analytics. So those would be like the Hootsuite, the buffers of the world that show you when to post. They tell you like what's an ideal time. You can schedule your posts. It's more of a management platform. And then there are audience analytics platforms, which is where we fit in. The two differentiators for us is our price point is ridiculously low compared to some of the competitors in our space. So our biggest competitor is a $1 billion company called Sprinkler, which charges their minimum clients at $6,000 per month. Our basic plan is $25 per month. And we're trying to go after not only big brands through an enterprise model that's very custom, but also go after mom and pop shops that have just been forgotten by social media management companies because they're not a worthy customer, quote unquote. So that's one. And then I think number two is just how intuitive the platform is. Like, you're not going to be able to run your entire marketing or customer loyalty program through our platform, but what's really cool is we can supplement the work that you're doing through influencer marketing or paid advertising, or we can be a supplement to Hootsuite. You could use us in conjunction with each other, and it's not going to be a really big cost to you.
But if you're starting with the small businesses, presumably you'll eat up the big competitor from the bottom. I've seen that happen repeatedly, and then they wake up about when
realizing like a year and a half, 2 years being like, oh yeah, they exist, which I'm going to be excited about if we're able to do that.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Monica. It's really nice to meet you. I found out about this event from your LinkedIn, whatever to LinkedIn. The one thing I was going to ask you is, like I've seen a little bit that you're connected to Gary Vee. I'm a big Gary Vee fan. Gary Vee has talked a lot about kind of pacing yourself and the truth about entrepreneurship, the loneliness, and like I just kind of feel in my own endeavors with social media marketing. I work from home for like an LA company, but I work from here, and so I feel like sometimes I'm working all day, all night, and I'm kind of like that for 3 weeks, and then I really crash, and then I've like kind of run out of leads. So I just wanted to hear your feedback on, you said you'd be talking a little bit about mental health too, so just kind of pacing yourself, how to stay motivated, how to have a life outside of working remotely, or, because I work remotely for a company, but whether it's entrepreneurship or working remotely, pacing yourself, and like working every day, but not like 18 hours a day or 30 hours a day, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's a couple of thoughts there. I think when it comes to work-life balance, I am probably not the expert opinion on that topic at all. I will not be invited on that panel, I hope. And same time though, I will give you a couple of tips that have worked for me, just to balance my life a little bit.
Yeah.
Gary, actually, one of the first questions I ever asked Gary, and this is actually on record, I think it's on a YouTube video, is I asked him about the idea that there are times where I feel so motivated, and this was 2-3 years ago, there are times where I feel so motivated, and then there are days in the middle of the week where I wake up and I'm like, what's the point of life?
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing this? Why am I getting up at 9 a.m.? And I actually particularly to date, and I still tell him this, I don't agree with the answer he gave because it was way too one-sided. The answer he gave is just like, you're not doing what you love. I'm like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
I think that sometimes, even if you're doing something you love, you're gonna burn out, or you just might have moments where you just have a shitty night. Like, you wake up and you don't want to get out of bed, and that's totally fine. I think the key thing is just realizing that when I organize my life, I organize it in terms of my weekly priorities. So if one day goes really badly, I know that I can at least bounce back if I can get my weekly priorities sorted out. And obviously things will come up throughout the week, but I make sure as much as possible to write notes to myself to A, not forget anything, and B, at the end of the day, I reflect on all of my notes to be able to put that into the weekly priority list and reorient it every single day. So that's number one. Number two is finding people who can relate to what you do. And it's very hard to do that, but that's why I love LinkedIn.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, like, I go for basketball every single Saturday at 3 p.m. at YMCA Cross Burner, by the way, if anyone wants to come out. But quick plug. But at the same time, I go out, and some of the people who come out with us for basketball, like Penny, Scott, Nick has come out a couple of times. You know, all of them know that the reason we come out isn't just to play basketball, but it's to be able to talk about our weeks and to be able to relate with each other. And you might not see that that could be important, but sometimes just being able to know that, like, Scott went through something similar that I did makes me feel not alone anymore. And it makes me think that the world's problems are way beyond just me.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, just like a quick note, I don't have any of like my close friends that I went to like university or high school with that are kind of in the same space as me. And so like I can go to the gym in the morning, but like nobody can go to the gym with me because they're working through the day. And so yeah, I guess that's why an event like this is important, to find people that are in the same space and having that relatability. Anyway, thanks very much.
No worries, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Akshay. I'm an iOS dev, always plug. I was like hearing like the kind of the developer side of stuff, and I was just wondering how was the very early like Trufans, how is it made, are you a programmer kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I'm not a programmer myself. My co-founder is Onik. He's a CTO for a company as well, and he spent 2 years at Stanford mechatronics engineering. Very smart guy. I wish he was here. He actually went to Western today for a birthday, but whatever. He doesn't love me, I guess. But at the same time, I've actually had to learn quite a bit. So our platform is entirely built on React. And initially, we were actually going to build a mobile app and pivoted 5 months in when we realized that every major brand executive doesn't look at their phone for analytics, but they look at a big laptop. Actually, sometimes they look at a PC, which hurts my eyes. But at the same time, we pivoted, and our platform took a while to build because of the integrations we were making to so many different APIs. So to get that access took a bit of time. There was an approval process that took about a month to 2 months. But even beyond that, then working with the code they gave us and integrating that in and making sure the entire foundation doesn't fall apart took a bit of time as well. But it was entirely built on React. All of our mockups are still done on Envision, and we update them on every single change. So our process is if somebody comes out with a new change they want to build to the product, the first thing we do that night is change it within the Envision, have an approval process where the team's like, that looks good, and then we'll go out and build it on a sprint.
Awesome. Also, how'd you meet your co-founder?
Yeah, so that was 20 under 20. So Onik and Onik was 16, he's a baby, no kidding. I was 17, he was 16, and he was roommates with me at the event. So he had built an app called Under the Radar that he pitched on Dragon's Den when he was 15. He got investment from Arlene Dickinson on it. And the app was really funny. It's an app that only people, it's a ringtone app. And the ringtone is a ringtone that only people under the age of 21 can hear. So he like loved it because a lot of his friends were using it in class and their teachers couldn't hear the ringtone go off. But he built the app, and the best part about it is that 25 cents out of every download went to free the children. and the work they were doing, which was very inspiring. So he's helped build a school in India as well, and he came to top 20. I met him there. He then went on to Stanford. But that's the thing about me, is that when I really like someone, I keep them around me and I really try to follow up with them. So we were almost chatting every week, even when he was at Stanford, just about different ideas. And eventually when I had Trufan, I called him. I'm like, hey, you want to drop out? He's like, no. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. No kidding, that was not how it went down. I was like, do you want to work with Trufan? He's like, yes. We raised money, and then he decided to take some time off school. Quote unquote.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for your time.
No worries, thank you.
Hi, my name is Bilal.
Everyone's coming with drinks in their hand. My God. I'm like calling up the law.
I swear to water, guys. Like, yeah, it's a water. Yeah, so like I'm in first year university. I quickly realized I'm one of the youngest people here. So that's cool, I guess. Yeah.
Congrats, by the way, for coming out. This is huge. Really, really good job.
So my question is, I feel like oftentimes we get comfortable in the position that we're in, and that can potentially lead to stagnation in many cases. So my question is, when's the right time, or like, how could you sense is the right time to progress into the next phase of your life maybe, or stay in the position you're in?
God, you get an answer. This really well.
Well, thanks, Swish.
On the
Yeah. Well, I think it's different for everybody, right? Like, you gotta look at your own life, and I think it'd be foolish to look at Gary Vee and some of his videos where, there's immediate kind of telling you to jump off the bridge if you feel like you're not fulfilled waking up in the morning. You definitely have to own your problems and realize that that's your problem, and you have to do what you can to get past that. But in terms of your career, like, when I was bouncing around 4 different jobs up until starting to work with Trufan, each of those jobs paid me. And when I left the last one, which was the highest paying job out of all 4, I was getting paid nothing with Trufan. So like, I made a conscious decision that, I had a little bit of money. I was not living in Toronto or Vancouver. I was living in a suburb of Ottawa, which had some seriously less significant risks in terms of rent. But at the same time, like, I knew at that time, based off of the couple of months of work that we were doing, that I could fully commit to this with the expectation that it would lead to something, whether it be 3 months, 5 months, 8 months, 12 months down the line, right? And in between, I was able to kind of find some opportunities that led me to, a 4 to 6 hour work week where I could at least sustain my rent and have some extra money coming in. But I guess to answer your actual question, like, bouncing around those jobs, up until that point when I had actually left and, meeting people like Swish and, people like Mark in the crowd, and there's a lot of great people, and a lot of them who I haven't met here, they can really help you understand that you may not realize the type of skills that you're picking up on through these types of endeavors, and I really didn't, but they actually accumulated to be quite a bit, and they led me into a great path where I could really apply a lot of those skills, and even just basic knowledge. I'm not telling you I'm an expert in really any field, but applying that knowledge and trying to get better and constantly learning, being willing to learn, I think as long as you kind of maintain that mentality, you're always going to succeed. And I guess to get a little philosophical, like, one of the things that I've really realized over the course of time is, I had this conversation several times over the last, 3 months or something maybe, but a lot of people think of work as like hard work equals success equals happiness, right? And in reality, I think it's actually reversed. Like, if you can achieve happiness, which is largely based off of making your own choices, owning your own problems, then you will seek success. Because I think happiness, right, equals success. And through success, you're gonna work hard. Because you'll be doing something that either you love, or you're doing something else.
We are, by the way, paid Scott now, just for any lawyers out there. Yeah.
We raised some money, and we were all pretty thankful about it.
And then one thing I would add to that too is always keeping something on the side too. So imagine that you, for example, you're an architect, that you eventually want to own your own company. Maybe taking some hours to do freelancing on the side and building up a portfolio of independent work would be ideal. For me right now, my goal is beyond just entrepreneurship. I am a huge fan of the entertainment industry, especially Bollywood. I don't want to be a Bollywood actor. I don't know Hindi, I can't speak it. But at the same time, I want to do something around entertainment. And what I love about Trufan is the people that I meet a lot of times are in entertainment. and just being able to help them out, being able to network with them, it's positioning me for something I might want to do 3 to 4 to 5 years from now. So always keeping something on the side if you know that's something you want to get to eventually. Maybe you want to start doing that a little now.
100%. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, what's up, man?
You went to my high school. Yeah, you went to my high school, yeah.
So it's kind of like a random question, but I was curious. I wanted to ask you because you from high school, like you really built yourself up to something that no one else has done, and it wasn't just by luck. So it was like, I'm curious if like the world like stopped for a month, right? And it was just you and you can survive, and you had a month like prepare yourself for when the world begins, and you had like a month just to work on like unrelated to business, just like purely on habits. What would you do in that month to like set yourself apart from everybody else when you come back?
First of all, does your high school friend have a podcast?
Yeah.
What was her name?
So if I had 1 month to prepare myself for the world to continue,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'd probably eat.
No,
that.
well, like besides like stuff that like you just like I'll give you a pill, you survive.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Everything works.
I actually, I don't know. I mean, for me, sometimes I just feel like the world stopped so many times in my head.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there are times where I'm like, oh, that is the end of the road. Like, this problem is too large to overcome now. And it feels like the entire world has stopped in front of me that I think I've had to reset so many times. I think that's probably what I would do if the world stopped again for a month, is reset. I take time to just think about what I really love, what I'm grateful for, and who I'd like to be with, and I would reposition myself to start making those choices when the world begins again. It's just reflecting, which I don't generally do a lot now because things are moving very quickly. But if the world stopped for a month and I had that much time to think, I'd reflect.
That's good. And what about you? I'm most curious. That's a good thing.
I don't know. I'm gonna shout out to Henny quickly again here, but I might wonder what those glasses do and whether or not they might be able to help me. Gentleman in the front here has got some wicked cool glasses on. So I don't know if they give me like superpowers or something. I might want to explore that, but yeah, I think reflecting is a really good answer. If I had nothing to do for a week and everything was working, I might try and read more. I've been trying to listen to more podcasts and even just like audiobooks a little bit over the last couple of weeks. And yeah, read, probably.
That's cool. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great question.
Hello. Yeah, so I also come from like a semi-traditional family where like the whole doctor, lawyer, engineering thing isn't really like forced upon you, but it like exists. And so one thing like with entrepreneurship in general is fear and anxiety and kind of dealing with uncertainty in general. And I just had a question when it comes down to you have to face that uncertainty and make that decision, hey, do I really want to go into this, like, I guess traditional path, or do I want to take like the leap of faith? Like, how'd you make that decision? How'd you deal with that like uncertainty?
Yeah. So I think A is always having a backup plan helps. So for me, it was really awesome because the University of Toronto, when I decided to take time off, I thought it would be a very long, extensive process. Basically, I went to the registrar and they were like, all right, well, bye. And like, it just paid $25 to come back in within 3 years, and then you should be good. And I believe on it in the same way, like Stanford, I think gives you up to 3 years to be able to take time off. So if the venture didn't work out, then I'd go back to school immediately. That's my backup plan. So I think there was obviously uncertainty on whether the business would succeed, but there's always a backup plan that made me feel a little, like, more comfortable. The second thing I think is entrepreneurship intrinsically, no matter what you do, will have uncertainty with it. But I think I'd rather honestly die, like, what was the reference? Dying on the sword that you planted or something like that? I definitely butchered that. But at the same time, I'd rather fall on my own mistakes than fall on, living out somebody else's life. So if I was in law school right now, which was my route that I was going on, wasn't saying, yep. If I was going to law school and I was absolutely doing terrible there, I would feel 10 times worse than if I screwed up the choice that I made of starting my own company. Because entrepreneurship is literally jumping off a cliff and building a glider on the way down, like Reid Hoffman says. I very much believe that. So it's going to be uncertain no matter what you do, but at least if I make mistakes there, I'm going to feel a little happier than if I made mistakes doing something I genuinely did not want to do.
Thank you.
Hey Mark, I'm gonna cut you off, man. I think everyone's getting a little bit antsy and the bar's overflowing, but you guys are hanging for a bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are
We'll
here.
be around.
So if you guys want, let's just get back to the networking. There's some awesome people here that we've met. Thank you guys so much. Swish, Scott, thank you so much for your time.